And uh-oh. Good day, folks.
Hi, everyone.
Why is the camera is not turning? Okay.
There we go. That works.
Megan, you look so small. Why is
You're just tall, Rod.
we look nice and colorful today, don't we?
Yeah. You got some sun. I got some sun.
Yeah, you got some stuff. Good evening, folks. How are we all tonight? Everyone enjoying summertime in Panama? In wintertime in North America?
Ready to get out of the winter? I love seeing a lot of familiar names come in every Thursday. It's like we know you guys.
Yeah.
Well, some of you we do.
Some of them we do, some of them we don't. Hey, Fred from Gig Harbor. I was there 15 years ago by now, I'm sure.
Washington.
Yeah, I had a boat there for a few months.
I'll be in Washington in August.
Angie, you're cold in Alabama? Really? I didn't know
There's
it
a
got
big
cold
storm. There was a big snowstorm going through.
there. All right, folks, welcome to our call. And I forgot to do something. We are 7 p.m. So we always start with close to on time. Megan, tell us a story.
Story?
What? We're missing somebody. Where's Oscar? He's on tour.
Okay.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
get the background. There we go. That thing away from
That's
no,
better.
that's still not. I don't know why.
That's you're looking at that.
I know that. I can see that. I can see. All right,
Making
guys.
everyone dizzy.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Good enough.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. See, as I'm fiddling on there, another 30 people just joined the live stream. So they're wondering what is going on.
Yeah. Welcome. Thanks
Welcome,
for
folks.
introducing yourself. Should we introduce ourselves?
Let's do that.
I think
And first of all, before we begin, please introduce yourself. But don't type your questions in yet.
Mhm.
We will get to you shortly on that. Go ahead, Megan. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I think most of you in here know pretty much already, but if you don't, we are Retiring Panama Tours. I'm Megan. I'm our operations director. So if you come on a tour with us, I'll help you get all prepared for the tour and help you with planning your trip if you're staying before or coming or staying after. Make lots of recommendations and help you plan your whole trip to Panama. So I'm originally from Pennsylvania. Moved to Panama in 2018 after graduating from Penn State and came down here with the Peace Corps and absolutely fell in love with Panama. Did a lot of really cool development projects in rural areas and met my husband Oscar. And so I ended up staying here after my Peace Corps work and joining on with Retiring Panama. And now live in Boquete, where I was originally based very close to Boquete, and I love it here. Beautiful little mountain town with a diverse community and a lot going on. And I have a 2.5-year-old, so we're very involved in the family community and the expat community and the local community, and I just love it here. So Oscar is my husband. He does the tours, and we have a tour kicking off today. So he's in Panama City.
All right. So we're done.
Well, we do the tours too, just not the full
we do.
tours.
Yeah, we
We'll
don't
meet
we
you
do the
on
second
this
half.
side of the country.
Mhm. Yeah. My name is Rod Larrabee. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I moved to, sorry, I'm trying to do this page at the same time. That was really silly. My apologies. I moved here 13 and a half years ago. And within 3 months, I met a guy named Oscar Pena. We keep hearing from this guy that he became my relocation guide when I first came here because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know where to live. I didn't know how to get a visa. I didn't know how to buy a vehicle. I didn't know. Well, actually, I did, but I did it wrong. It wasn't actually my name. I didn't know how to get a driver's license. There were so many things I just didn't know. And Oscar was my savior and got me on track. And so he had already been in Panama for several years before I got here. So I joined him as a business partner within a few months of us meeting. We've been best friends and business partners ever since. And about, it keeps going by, 6 years ago now, 6, 7 years ago, is when we started the group tours of this company that you're seeing right now. And that we do 7-day cross-country tours, 3-day Cherokee Highlands for the province of Cherokee, one of the popular expat areas with Boquete, Volcan. And we do private customizable tours. Now, I started this company basically with Oscar. He asked me to because I wanted to help people do what I did wrong. Like I really screwed up, guys. I almost ended up costing me $40,000 if I didn't run into somebody legit and honest like Oscar. So when for a few years we actually had a tour company right downtown Boquete, and we helped expats as they walked in the door. But what we were doing was fixing their problems and putting out the fires. When we said, well, why don't we start from the beginning with expats as they make their move here and get them to do it right? And it's much funner doing that than fixing people's problems and putting out the fires. I tell you that. So, anyways, so that is who we are. We're not here to sell you anything except tours tonight. No, I'm teasing. We're not going to be selling. Like you ask questions, we're going to answer them. But just so you know what we do, we are pretty. We have some stuff coming up in the last half of this first half of the year. One spot in May and a spot for a couple in June. And one looks like in July still. So if you are interested in coming on our 7-day tours, please do. Our Cherokee Highlands tour, we don't have any spots available till August, and there is only 4 spots left in the August tour. So we could be doing more of those, eh?
Yep. Talks of maybe one more Highlands tour this year.
Yeah, if we get enough requests for it, we could do a Highlands tour in June. So we will see. April's been sold out for a long time with a really long backup list. So we're going to start with the questions, guys. We want you to enter. Oh, there we go. Hide that one. We want you to enter the questions in the chat. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can enter your question in the chat. Anything you guys want to talk about, you guys lead this call. Or number 2, if you want to talk to us, like come live on the screen in the studio here, you must be on the StreamYard studio. You can't do this from YouTube or Facebook, sorry. But then you type the word live, L-I-V-E, in the chat. Sorry, I'm reading comments and questions. So as you guys start type, I'm going to answer one. We get a lot of different questions that don't always come up. But when somebody asks me this, I know they're having a challenge or they're not doing something right, okay? So I got an email from Ivan. And Ivan asked, he replied to the Q&A email today, so which we often like people to do. And he goes, I need to know what documents to get for the pensionado visa. Honestly, folks, that's not your first step. Your first step is to retain your lawyer, okay? Because the documents are simple. all visas need two things: proof of income and FBI background check. Now, you might need a few more things. Like if you're married, you need a marriage certificate. If you're bringing kids, you need birth certificates. If you're doing a friendly nations with real estate, you need some different paperwork. But basically, you're looking at an FBI background check and the proof of income. It can be proof of a pension income. It can be proof of your job income, or like whatever you got. And what you do with those documents is different for virtually every document. What has to be notarized? Because it's really funny because there's no live signature on a pension income. So the U.S., most states won't notarize them. People say, oh my God, I failed. I'm not going to be able to get a pension because I can't get this notarized. There's workarounds for everything. So you first retain your lawyer, and the whole process should cost you somewhere $2,500 per single, $3,000 per couple. That includes all costs, folks. I'm talking about all the visas and stamps and cards. You're going to get 2 sets of cards, and they're $50 a piece. So that's $200 right there. And translations, all that stuff. But so you retain your lawyer. They should be able to walk you through. Now, also, if people ask me questions like this and then they say they already have a lawyer, either they're not using them or they have the wrong lawyer. Or we've had many people that say their lawyer doesn't know how to get something apostilled or authenticated. Okay, well, hopefully you didn't pay that lawyer too much, because they're going to need a new one. So if you are interested in an immigration lawyer who will give you a quote for their services, and that will do all that stuff for you, I'm having a challenge in a simple thing called copy and pasting.
Yeah, a good lawyer will be able to walk you through
Yes.
everything step by step.
You want a lawyer, number one, to be able to guarantee a visa. I don't know.
But
Number two,
make sure you're on the right timeline.
yeah. Make sure you got all the
Something
documents
wrong.
ready.
See it up there?
Oh my goodness. My apologies.
Yeah, because you don't want to gather paperwork before you're ready to apply, because paperwork will expire within 6 months, according to Panama immigration law.
Exactly. So, example, the lawyers we use typically charge like $700, $800 for a retainer. They guarantee it. If you don't start, you'll get it back. If your lawyer doesn't take credit cards, be concerned if they ask for cash. Be very concerned if they ask for their full fees up front. They should not.
Mm-hmm.
They should ask for a retainer, which is about 25% of the whole process or less. Mm-hmm. So that's my answer to Ivan. What documents? Don't worry about that yet. Find the lawyer. Get someone you're comfortable with. You cannot apply for a visa yourself. You cannot walk into immigration and say, I'm here. They're going to say, get lost. Okay, question. Can we go to the PC consulate, U.S. consulate, and get our U.S. driver's license approved there before we start our visa process with Lourdes and Debbie? Currently waiting for email back to pay original retainer with her. Yes, you can get your license. You don't need a visa to get your driver's license authenticated. So it's a simple answer. They're not going to ask to see your visa. Well, they might, but then just say, hey, I'm in the process. See, it doesn't matter. You could be getting your license authenticated for anything. The authentication is good for 6 months, I believe it is, with the driver's license people. So, and then we can help you in David. Oh yeah, we're doing that. Mm-hmm. Okay, Reggie has a question here. Reggie's coming on one of our tours.
Hey, Reggie, what time should I book my return flight home after the tour? So if you're coming on our 7-day tour, also just feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. But we do send out this information as it gets a little bit closer to your tour date. 45, or let's see, if you're on the 7-day tour, you'll want to book your ticket out of Panama City around at least 1 p.m. or
After 1 p.m., yes.
Yeah, because you'll land in Panama City around 11 a.m. and you have to deboard, possibly collect any luggage you might have checked, then check in, go through security. If you're running North America, go through security again. So we want to give you a good cushion there.
Yeah, try to make it after 1:30. Give yourself 2.5 hours, just like you would if you were showing up for an international flight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, under the Friendly Nation visa, hey, Brad from Victoria, my former neighbor. Fixed term deposit, how safe are the banks there to invest? And what are the banks to avoid? Great question. First of all, there is no deposit insurance in Panama, like US has FDIC. I'm a Canadian and I can't remember what we call ours. It's a bunch of letters too, but yeah, well, deposit insurance. Well, Canada only has 100,000 and US, I believe, has 250. So actually Panama has 10,000, but that's just a government sponsored program. So now this is the thing to look at. You need to do your due diligence on banking here and look in the past of how many banks have failed where consumers have lost their money. You're going to be pretty hard pressed to find one because it doesn't happen here. We have extremely secure banks. We have 5 times the amount of money on deposit than US or Canada has as a requirement of the bank. We have a strong governor of banking that monitors all banks. So I've yet to come in a situation that where banks have failed. One thing, banks have been taken over here, but typically because they've been forced to, because they haven't complied, and the governor of banking here gets another solid bank to buy them out. During the 2008-2010 crisis, Brad, Panama banks were as strong, if not stronger, than Canadian banks. We never even had a hiccup here. The banks got together and put $2 billion in a big savings account in Banco Nacional just to of deposits. Just when that crisis started, just in case they had to bail somebody out, they didn't need to. Everything was just fine here. Are there banks to avoid? Oh yeah. Stay away from real foreign international banks that are small, that only have one location in Panama City. Stay with the big ones, like the big brands, the Banco General, the Global Bank, Multibank. Like those guys have been around for years and years and years. Caja Aurora, that's the National Credit Union. So there's lots of big banks with branches all across the country that are very strong here. Okay, Mark says, I'm running Surfshark. For those of you who don't know, Surfshark is a VPN provider. If you move to Panama, you're going to use a VPN for 2 things. Number one, for your entertainment, so you could get your US or Canadian Netflix and Prime Video and stuff like that. And I have recommended Surfshark for a while now. Been using it for 4 years myself. The best price and works all the time.
Tina, how do I use my phone there? What is a dual SIM card?
Guess it depends where Tina's from, but go over roaming and SIM card here, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends if you're coming here to live permanently or just for vacation. There are ways. If you're just coming for a visit first, then you can check on your roaming package, or you can just get a Panama SIM if your phone is unlocked. And you can put your Panama SIM card in and have data while you're here. Get a little charge card. It's very affordable. The SIM card is like $2, and then with $5, you'll have roaming for the week. And then really, if you want to get a plan, if you're moving here and want to get a monthly plan, it's very affordable as well. It's about, I think I pay $27, maybe $30 with all the taxes and fees, $30 a month, and it's unlimited roaming in Panama and in all of the Americas. So if you go back to Canada or US, you can still use your phone. There's just a couple other details, whereas if you want to port your US number when you decide to move
Yeah,
here.
I'm going to move into the next question here with Bill.
Oh, perfect.
And this, Tina, continue to answer because this will carry on with yours. And I'm going to talk to Bill, especially if you're from the US, Tina. So Bill says, I plan to port my US number and cancel the US service. I'm assuming you're porting it over to something like Google Voice. That is your best option for your US people, but do it when you're in the US. It's very complicated to do it once you're here. So get a Google Voice number. It's free, and then port your whatever AT&T, Sprint, or whatever you use there to that Google Voice, and it becomes your number. Then you can cancel your cell phone number, and you have internet. Then you come here and you buy a local plan from either Tigo or Mass Mobile. Don't make that decision until you find out where you're living. And then you ask your neighbors which one has the best service. I've lived in some places, even here in Boquete, that have basically 0 bars in one or the other, and you got to switch. And then you get a SIM card from one of the others, and you use that for your data. Your Google Voice will work when you're out and about, and it'll work really good when you're on Wi-Fi. And you will pay 0 for Google Voice, and you'll pay, what's it, Tigo, $28 a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, $28 a month and you'll get unlimited roaming anywhere in the Americas. Yep, said it right, for up to 6 months. So we got people that live here for 6 months and go back to Canada, and they have roaming in Canada for 6 months on a $28 plan. It's crazy. So that's what your bill will go to. Whatever you're paying now to having 2 phone numbers, one in Panama, one in the US, the $28 a month.
Get this, when I visit my parents in Pennsylvania, I have better service than them.
Yeah. Great. Okay, let me move down. Okay, health insurance. I'm going to get a link. You can start off, Megan.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get your health insurance here in Panama. Once you started the process of residency, you have to at least begun with a lawyer to get your health insurance here. And you're supposed to be in Panama for at least 6 months of the year to maintain a Panamanian health insurance plan. But you can get international plans. They're probably the most popular with expats from multiple providers. And we're happy to connect you with a broker who speaks English. And it's good to have a broker when you get your health insurance here because they can help make claims for you. They can help make doctor recommendations for you and really break down and explain to you all the different options.
And they don't charge you more than if you go directly to the company.
That's right.
And prove it yourself. They're going to give you quotes. Go to the company's website, get a quote. It's going to be the same. Mm-hmm. Now, the biggest myth out there right now is that the U.S. folks should use your medical advantage here as your primary health care. That is, we don't advise people to do things that are dangerous, basically. We've seen all too often people on Medicare Advantage plans here, which can be used outside the U.S. in case of emergency. But then we see people who have sold everything in the States, living here permanently on medical advantage, either one, try to make a claim, slip up and tell the agent or a healthcare.gov auditor that they live here now and get denied, or number 2, they go to a heart specialist and the heart specialist says, you need a heart stent put in within the next month. It's not an emergency. It's not going to be covered. So you got to go back to the States. You don't live there anymore. You got nowhere to sleep. You got no, maybe you're going to go live with family for a month as you have your heart surgery. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Yes, it's cheaper than healthcare insurance here. Healthcare insurance for a full international plan can be me. I'm 60. I pay $250. Now, I don't pay any 170 or 180 for Medicare Advantage. So if I did, it means I'm paying $80 more a month. Well, my rent is half, my insurance is half, my food is half. Deal with it. Budget yourself to get yourself a good health insurance here. Spend less on rent. Recently had a client looking at what's your budget for rent? 1,800. Great. What's your budget for healthcare? Oh, we're going to self-insure. No, let's talk about this. So we sat down on my couch. They're in my house. This is one of our past guests. This is how we treat our guests. And I said, let's look at this. Now, what happens if this happens to you? Now, what happens if something catastrophic happens? What's your bank account look like? Okay, well, you know what? What if we can find you a house for $1,200 that you love just as much as the $1,800 house? Then you have $600 to buy health insurance, and that's what they did. So think about that first. Health insurance, a big thing. Don't overlook it. Don't leave yourself stranded, and don't get caught. Many people will get away with it because if you use Medicare Advantage, you actually have to, during the season, whatever, October to January, the healthcare.gov season, because that's where you buy it. Medicare Advantage is subsidized by the U.S. government a lot, like up to 75% of your premiums are subsidized by the U.S. government. The U.S. government definitely doesn't want people using it if they don't live in the States anymore. But the insurance company want to pay benefits in Panama because it's cheaper than if you're in the US. So that's why the insurance guys love to sell you Medicare Advantage because their companies like it. But if you get caught and you have to lie every year by telling them, I live at this zip code as my primary residence, and it's not your Panama zip code.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I gave you, Marta and Eric, I gave you my rant on healthcare. I just put a link in the chat that will, if you want to be connected with healthcare, an excellent bilingual healthcare specialist that will actually create an Excel sheet for you with the 8 to 12 most popular companies, what they offer, what their rates would be based on your age. And please fill out that form and we'll have her get to you. That was the longest answer I gave for the shortest question.
It was a loaded question.
Yeah. Okay. Can we get a bank account before we have a visa?
Not legally.
Yeah. If the banks are following the governor banking rules, that answer is no. You must be in the process of residency. But a letter from your lawyer is all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're you just got here, you don't even have your temporary card, they still take a letter from the lawyer. And yes, you're supposed to be here in person. Okay. Oh, big question. Okay.
It has been mentioned that we can stay in Panama for 6 months. If I did your tour for 1 week, decide to stay for 6 months, could you recommend rentals? And would the Panamanian authorities accept a one-way travel ticket for that time period with the intention of retiring in Panama? So yes, I mean, I
yes to part of that.
yes, that's a part of that. You can come and we can't just get you a rental right away, but probably within, a few weeks, we would be able to help you, get you connected with some people to find a rental for you.
Yeah, we can find you a place to stay, especially if you stay outside of the months of December through April. If you come outside of those months, we can have you hooked up at an Airbnb at the end of your tour for 2 weeks and then help you find a rental.
Yeah, that's high season, and we have a lot of snowbirds here, so it can be a little bit harder during those months. But yes, of course, we can help you with that. If you're flying in as a tourist, which you would be, a one-way travel ticket is not accepted. You will need to have a return ticket. Your airline will ask you for that. They won't let you board unless you have that. And that's the same as if any tourist flying in who hasn't applied for residency yet. So some ways to get around that is book a ticket that is flexible. So you can change it to go back whenever you're ready, or book a ticket that is cancelable within a certain amount of time, so that you can cancel it once you arrive in Panama. And yes, because of course you have the intention. Something we do have to mention is that even though you can stay for 180 days on tourist visa, you can only drive on a foreign driver's license for 90 days. So just keep that in mind.
And for those of you guys traveling here, by the way, it's not the Panamanian authorities that look at your return ticket. It's the the agents at the counter where you're boarding your flight. They're the ones that are required to check your documents to make sure you have a ticket outside of Panama within that time frame. So you won't get on a flight without a return ticket unless you have a residency card.
Mm-hmm.
I've never once been asked for my return ticket from customs, like way back when. They would ask how long you stayed.
Yeah, it's your airline when you're flying into Panama.
Okay, James and Shelley asked, I use the VA and it looks like Panama has liberal mail order med allowance. Yes, you can. There's no problem bringing drugs, prescription drugs into the country. Mailbox, etc., is the best because they actually have a doctor on staff that takes the medicine prescription and writes up a Panamanian prescription for it, so it gets to customs fast. And the only thing you're not allowed to ship in the country is narcotics and antibiotics, and I call them psychotrops. There's another name for them, but mood alterers like Valium, Valium, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Those have to be prescribed here. Mm-hmm. Just the only restriction is you can't ship more than a 90-day supply. I was asked, Diane, this question, can I get health insurance for 6 months, was in also in my email. The only thing you could get for 6 months, and still it just doesn't work. If you're only coming for 6 months as a tourist, you need to buy insurance at your country of departure. That's who you need to be covered by. But if you are even get your residency and want insurance for 6 months every time you come, the problem is if you're over 55, you have to get a medical, and that has to be done here. And there is one company that offers insurance in Panama City and Cherokee, and they offer they're hospitals that offer copay insurance, where you pay 30 and they pay 70. And you don't have to be a resident, and you can cancel it after 6 months. But when you come back next year, you have to do the whole approval thing over again. So, which takes a month, 4 to 6 weeks to get all your labs done, see the doctor, they do the processing. It's ridiculous a lot of time. Mm-hmm. So it's just not that feasible. So you need to get travel insurance from the country that you're leaving from. You'd be surprised for you, if any of you are snowbirds, Canadian, I'm not sure if you're from Canada, Diane. Any Canadian snowbirds, how much cheaper the travel insurance is in Panama than the stuff that you might get in the US. So if you were going to like Arizona or Florida for 6 months. Injectables. There are, if you need, buy needles, you can buy them off the shelf or anywhere you want here. But I'm not sure what injectables. Shelly. Okay, bring on the questions, guys. You guys ran out of questions.
Oh, that's a first.
Gonna go through mine. Yeah, that is a first. You sure got questions at the end. Maybe I missed some. Bring them on. There we go. Oh, yes. You're right, James. I'm not allowed to the U.S. mail. Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's one.
Yeah. I bought a house in San Carlos. I already needed much guidance without the tour. You guys sell manuals? Not really, Tina, at this point. We do have a sister company, Panama Expat Service. I'm just grabbing the link for you. We might be able to help you on that end with some more a la carte type services. I will post a link in the chat for you. I got to explain to you guys what we are. We are an end-to-end relocation service. We don't jump into the middle and have a 2-hour phone call and try to, that's what Oscar and I used to do. Fixing one thing, and then they'll come back. There's something else. We're an end-to-end. We meet you when you buy our product, which is currently our tours. And throughout the entire process, and then 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road, we're picking you up from the airport when you move here. That's the type of company we are. So we don't just piecemeal things. So. Okay, bring on those questions, guys. I'm going through my email questions now. Okay, did we answer that? Okay, we talked about that. Okay, there we go. The question is, my lawyer tells me I can get my documents apostilled or authenticated. What is the difference and what is apostilled? Well, you all know what a notary is, right? A notary works, it is a country specific things. So for example, we get people here, US folks come here, Canadians, they go, oh, I need to find a US notary. Well, US notaries cannot practice on Panamanian soil. The only notary in the entire country works out of the US Embassy in Panama City. So US has their notaries and we have our notaries. What the apostle is, the Apostle Convention of, I believe it's 1964, a whole pile of countries, including US and Panama and Canada joined it a year ago, joined together with a international notary type system. It's a special stamp and signature to prove that something is real. That's what a apostle is. Now, your document, like let's say your Social Security income thing, needs to be either apostle or authenticated. What's authentication? The Panama Consulate has 2 consulates in Canada and 7 in the United States. I could list the cities, but I'm not going to bother. And it goes to a consulate, and the consulate does their form of authentication. Which is better? In my feeling, better, cheaper, faster is the consulate. And especially the LA consulate is amazing, and the Toronto consulate. They charge like $30 for an authentication, and they usually have it done within a day. And you can courier the docs to them. You can courier. Actually, our lawyers combine all this stuff at the LA consulate, and they send a package to Panama once a week, so you don't even have to worry about getting it back. So it's what immigration is used to. So that's why I always tell people, just get it authenticated by the consulate. Don't worry about the apostle. The apostle is a state by state thing, even though it's a national thing. But it's really weird. Some states you got to wait 2 weeks to get your apostle back. Some states you can have it done the same day. It's just no consistency there. Okay. Looks like people ask questions. Okay, what hospital with health plan in Cherokee? Let me bring that one up on the screen here. It's called Family Life by Pan Pacific Health, like very large corporation. And they work in Cherokee, primary out of Cherokee Hospital. That's where their office is. but you can also have work done at the May Lewis Hospital, the two best hospitals in Cherokee. And I will bring up their brochure for you guys to see it. Their plan starts as little as $100 a month to 175 for if you're over 75. I'm trying to find healthcare. There we go. And I have it here, family medical care. Now I have to share the screen. Let's present. You need a whole Q&A on healthcare.
Yeah.
I'm trying to present this. I'll tell you what, I have their brochure up on my screen. Oh, okay, maybe you're going to see it. Anyone who wants this brochure, our email link, just scroll back, click on any of those links, Retiring Panama Tours, hit the contact button, and ask for the healthcare link or the healthcare brochure that I'm going to show you. It's finally available. So this is Family Medical Plan. Like I say, from Pan American Life. Yeah, thank you. Glad to have Megan. And you can see the rates down there. Quite reasonable.
Yeah, and if you email us, we can send this to you.
Yeah. And it just shows what they cover. Basically, it's a total 30-70 basically. On some pre-existing conditions, it might be 50-50 for the first 2 years, or they might not even exclude it if it's serious for the first 2 years. But this is 30% of your doctor's visits, your lab tests, your prescription drugs. You can claim all that stuff, or your hospital stays. And the price ranges between, I think it's 108 in the lowest. This is last year, so no. Oh yeah, no, for you 2 to 18-year-olds, it's 32. Sorry, 102 for if you're in your 60s, 125, 70s, 180 in your 80s. So that answer to your question was Cherokee Hospital and May Lewis Hospitals. I'm getting a lot of Trump questions. You guys probably realize that we don't answer those. We write op-eds once in a while. Our position is Panama owns a canal, will continue to, and it's not an issue here. There's no animosity to expats here whatsoever. James and Shelley, depending on hotel, yeah, you guys are coming. Yeah. When we do the tour, as we get closer to, yeah, the immigration is taking bookings from the hotels. We just got to get a separate receipt with your name on it if you're coming on our tour. Mm-hmm. Yes, we can help you with that. Traveling with pets. Hey, Larry. Well, we're going to talk about moving your pet here. I wouldn't come on vacation with your pet because there's a 10-day, very stringent process, time consuming to get it done. You got to see a USDA or CFIA vet from Canada. You have to get the paperwork signed by the USDA. You got to get authenticated by the Panama consulate. All within 10 days, pay all the fees, get all the vaccines, come here and pay the $130 fee. And we help with that too. The Panama Expat company, I have the link right in the chat, can assist you with that. Getting everything done, taking all the stress of moving your pets. We do pets in cabin, pets in cargo, pets on a private plane. That's an option. Surprising how many people are doing that. right on our website. Again, Mark, if you click on any of the links and hit the search bar, type in pets, we have the complete procedure on both our websites, Retiring Panama Tours and Panama Expat Service. So the procedure is pretty simple. 10 days before you see a USDA. I have to assume you're from the States. If I say, if you're from Canada, replace USDA with CFIA. So you see a USDA vet that gets, then to fill out a health certificate, that gets sent to the USDA for signature. Then it goes to the Panama consulate for authentication. Beforehand, you got to have these certain vaccines done. I'm not going to list them because I can't pronounce them, but they are on the website. And you get all this done and you bring the vet to Panama. They see a vet when they arrive here, and hopefully you did everything right. Otherwise, they can home quarantine or they can government quarantine your pet for 40 days. But you have to pre-apply for home quarantine, pay a $130 fee, see the vet, and you're on your way.
Those are some long ones coming through.
Okay, there we go. Is there a way around that? Yeah, there's.
Yeah, just leave the country
Yes.
at 90 days and come back in.
You just need a stamp. And Brad and Victoria, last month, Costa Rica proposed a new law extending, they also have a 180-day term for North Americans, and they extended their driver's licenses. It's been a big deal because we're part of a convention of 100 nations that allow each other to drive for 90 days in each other's countries. So you can go with your Panama license to the States, Canada, Europe, Africa, and drive your car for 90 days. So that's the difficulty in changing it. And in the U.S., Canada, U.S., Mexico have they changed theirs when they introduced NAFTA in the 1980s. So it's 180 days. So Costa Rica has found a way around it, and we hope Panama soon does that. But yeah, it's a simple trip across the border. You need an entry stamp. If you do that at the 180 day, just cross the border and get a stamp thinking you can stay longer, the immigration guy is really going to look at that.
They're a lot more lenient at the air border.
Yeah,
Flying
fly out, fly in, yes. But driving is not an issue whatsoever. After 90-day, leave the country, go to Costa Rica. There's some nice resorts on the eastern side of Costa Rica that you can go for a long weekend, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And come back and drive for 90 days. Okay. Thinking.
Coming for a month to look around. Like to be quite active. Do you suggest Boquete? Can you suggest a company to find a rental? For 1 month, there's no company that's going to find a rental for you.
No.
You can use Airbnb. There are a lot of hotels that have like suites or casitas. Without really knowing you, just to suggest Boquete. I mean, I think there'll be plenty to do if you're active. It will be a fun visit. But there's also a lot of other great places to visit in Panama too. But Boquete would be a great first stop.
Cool. Hello, Teresa Pope. How are ya? Yes, you are. And by the way, Teresa, and a lot of people don't know this, so this is a great question. You don't get a tourist visa if you're a North American. You get a stamp on your passport. That's all you get. And that stamp on your American or your Canadian passport is good for 180 days. So you have to do nothing. So
yeah, there's no application. It's just you enter and you get a stamp.
Yeah. And Teresa, I suppose you're going to be one of the ones, you're on that list for April, but we're thinking about doing one in June. So you might get here sooner than the August we talked about. So we're talking about Cherokee Highlands tour. If anyone on this would like to come on a Cherokee Highlands tour before the end of June, let us know. We're trying to squeeze one more on. Hey, Ronald from Philly.
Ronald from Philly. Go Birds. You're coming down on my birthday weekend.
There we go.
Looking at buying car assistance program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Mark. There are 10 times more vehicles of the exact same model available in Panama City than there are in Debbie. More than 10 times. Because you just got to think of the population. All of Cherokee, Panama City has 10 times the population of all of Cherokee. That's why Oscar goes there. And virtually everything we have seen in Cherokee in cars, he can get cheaper in Panama City. But he will look at whatever you want him to look at. He's bought in one or two, he's locked out. But if you're not buying from a dealer, if you're buying from an individual, it's a whole nother process.
You have to have your money in your own Panama bank account.
You got to have the money in hand here. If you're buying from a dealer, even a used car official dealer who Oscar uses, this is how he does it. I'm not going to tell all his secrets, but he's got several used car dealerships, some of the best in Panama City, and he'll just WhatsApp them all saying, hey, I'm looking for something like this in this model this year. What do you guys got? And they all bid against each other. So, you're going to get a good deal. So,
and obviously then, those are all mechanically inspected and driven. And honestly, when we do go look at cars in Debbie, it's usually a waste of time.
Yeah.
So it's just that it's been most effective and efficient to go to Panama City.
And it's really irrelevant. Oscar has a fee. Yes, he might be an overnight, and your expenses might be different if you bought in Panama City than like a $70 hotel than in Debbie, but on the $20,000 car, you can save you $1,000 or $2,000. That's probably better. So it doesn't matter where it's bought. It's a used car. It's not going to be under warranty. It can be serviced anywhere. Mm-hmm. And Oscar can assist you with the registration to get it registered here. So that's not an issue either. There is no paperwork to fill out for a visit. You buy a ticket, you arrive in Panama. Now, I shouldn't say that.
Your customs form.
Yeah, as long as you're from a country that doesn't require a visa.
Right.
So.
With an hour between Panama City and Debbie for a flight, is that enough time to go through immigration?
Not if you have luggage. Like checked luggage.
It's pretty tight.
Oh yeah, no, impossible if you have checked luggage because you're relying on the planes.
No, but I mean just
totally on time.
Even with carry-on.
Oh, even with carry-on, it's tight. You got to get through immigration, and at times in the afternoons that can be 45 minutes.
Yeah, I would want at least an hour and a half, and that's me, who has done it many times.
Yes.
And knows exactly where to go.
I want 4 hours. I want a cappuccino and then a couple of beers to support.
That's too long. That's too long for me.
I want the lounge.
Yes, because it's not just immigration. I mean, you're deboarding, then if you have your boarding pass on your phone, then you're going through immigration, then security. And if you're going to North America, you're going through security again. Yes,
exactly. So, yeah. Not enough time. I don't know why airlines book it. We see it all the time, and we get our guests that are coming on our tour because nothing worse than missing a flight. And then especially if you're the day before the tour, and then we have to work with them to, fire your whoever booked this for you.
Yeah.
And let's get you some time. Yeah.
Yeah, we always say at least 2 hours. We'll have you not rushing and worrying.
Well, okay, hey Chuck. Hey, we're looking forward to meeting you in April too.
Yeah, we'll be here before we know it. On the 3-day
Highlands, yes. Friendly Nation's permanent resident. Do we need to visit every 1 day to? You need to enter Panama once every 2 years. There is no day stay limit. So you need to basically have a stamp on your passport that you entered Panama.
Yeah. So yes. Yeah. Even if it's in and out. It's a pretty easy rule to maintain residency.
Oh yes, Teresa. Yeah, you got kicked out. Sorry about that. Yes, I know you're waiting for the April, but if it doesn't happen, because we're very close to that one, we are considering because the August one's almost sold out, and so we're really considering. You're guaranteed for the August one, Teresa, but we're really considering putting a June one on. So, for anyone's interested in Cherokee Highlands, please get a hold of us. Looking for an apartment when I visit Panama City, Airbnb, if you're visiting.
Yeah, but to start out to visit.
What's the other one? VRBO.
VRBO.
Very popular in Latin America.
Yeah. And then once you're looking for a 6-month to 12-month lease, then you can get connected with a rentals agent that can help you get something for a little bit better price because you'll pay a little bit more on a shorter term rental. But it gives you peace of mind while you're still looking around and learning.
There are many hostels in Panama. Do you know the names of them? Like in Panama City?
Selena used to be the biggest chain in Panama, but that just changed hands. So it's a new name now. But there's a few different ones.
Oscar, that's where we need Oscar. He knows all the hostels. Because when he was young in his business, that's where he used to
well,
stay.
I did too in the Peace Corps. Yeah. But I would have to double check in Panama City which ones are still running, if they're under the same names, but there are a lot of good options there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Selena was one of the biggest one, and they had options for a private room or shared rooms.
Hey, Mark and Monica. Yes, Mark. We had talked. I have now. My suggestions to you are not going to be Facebook ones. My suggestions are going to be real official companies that offer this service professionally and have the right vehicles for you. And if a vehicle breaks down, they have a backup. So please, Mark, let me connect you to our company that we use in Panama City for all of our driving services, because I know the stuff you got. So, and we got to fit the surfboards in there.
And if you're coming down with a lot of stuff,
you're looking at, for price wise, and by the way, you'll get all kinds of prices, guys. You'll get a taxi driver say, I'll do it for $180. And when he pulls up in his car, it's smoking oil out of the back. Mm-hmm. The tire should have been replaced 4 years ago. That's what you get for that price. From Panama City, private to Tennessee, in a car, it's going to start around $300. In a van, probably closer to $400. Mm-hmm. But if you want that, contact Mark.
Shuttles, please. But with all of your things,
I'm going to write you down here, Mark. Mark and Monica Miguel. I will connect you to the guy. He's got like 20 vehicles, and he'll find out the size that you need. Mm-hmm. Okay. Peggy is coming on a tour, and she wants to know extra luggage. No, Peggy, you cannot bring any extra luggage. Sorry. Oh no! Should you let her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is common, and we do just allow carry-on bag size luggage on the tour van, because if everyone brought, multiple bags of luggage, it would be just too much as far as space in the back of the bus, and then also just getting in and out of every place would slow things down. So we offer either storing your luggage at our Panama City hotel. They let us do that if you're going back to Panama City area after the tour, or we can ship it to Boquete for you, and it'll meet up with you on Tuesday of the tour at our Boquete hotel if you're going to spend your after stay in that area. And that's all included.
Perfect. Hi, Teresa. I just put into the chat the requirements for people who require visa. And yes, Nigeria is one of them. It's embassyofpanama.org. Visa is one. So go through that to see what they would need to get a visa. Mm-hmm. When we move down here with 3 cats, how difficult would it be to get a short-term rental would we? It's more difficult than if you had no cats, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Some places take pets, some don't. It's as simple as that. Mhm.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just a pet deposit,
Yeah.
but we've definitely helped people with cats find rentals.
Yeah, I helped someone come down here with 6 cats and get a rental. They flew here with 6 cats and helped them find a rental.
Actually, I think Tammy has 3 cats.
Cammy's got 3, Carol's got 2.
Yeah.
And they all live
And they all
great
got
places.
great rentals.
Great rentals.
Yeah.
And quickly.
Mm-hmm. Somebody mentioned Bambuda hostels.
Yeah.
But I know in Boquete and Bocas, but I'm not sure if they're in
They're
Panama
not
City.
Panama City. Mhm. Okay, now we're on time. People came back. See, they thought they were out of questions, and a bunch more people joined.
And the perfect amount of questions, and we got to all of them.
And I forgot to. We are going to in this next week launch a whole new Q&A series.
Yeah.
From healthcare to pets to things like we already noticed. We did 4 of these general Q&As, and the same questions are coming up. So that's what we have to focus on.
Mm-hmm. Get more detailed.
We're going to hear from everything but special speakers and get some expats on here that already live here. So that is what's going to happen. You'll watch your emails. That's where we send this information out to. And thank you, everyone here and everyone on YouTube and Facebook. Look at all the Facebook people.
I know. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us.
It was helpful. Thanks for putting in your questions.
Perfect. Everybody have a super night.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Maybe I'll have to click again.
Yeah, it's a new studio.
So I take these with me, Rob?